and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, to the final day here of the 2025 Kung Fu Cup November Finals. Day number 5. Oh, I tried to fix that. Day number 5 here, not day number 4, with the final day of the KFC. It has been a very intense week of StarCraft, covering this event day after day after day. 5 days of Kung Fu Cup action, and now we're here to crown our champion. Oh, the final day, here we go. As we switch our scenes over to catch up on the bracket itself. Now, I do highly recommend checking out the VODs. We had some very intense, very chaotic, and very entertaining matches, of course, throughout the entirety of the event. All the VODs are over on YouTube, of course, over on YouTube, and temporarily over on Twitch as well. We did go from the top. From the very top here, we had herO. He popped off in the ZVT matchup, took down gumiho. He was able to take down KungFu in the upper bracket finals 4-0. He took down a Showtime barely 3-2 as well in the ZVP, and we have herO advancing all the way to the grand finals, where he is waiting for his final opponent in the best of 7. Oh boy. He is waiting. He is lying in wait. Meanwhile, scrolling down, we do have the lower bracket, and a player has been working his way through the entirety of that lower bracket. Initially, herO took down herO 2-1, did knock him down in the first round, but it is a double elimination tournament, double elimination bracket, so as a result, we do have a herO fighting his way back up. He took down Solar 3-2, took down a Showtime 3-1, took down a Classic 3-1 as well, and has made his way all the way to the lower bracket finals. And we'll see if he can bring down KungFu and look to face off against herO. We'll see if KungFu can once again repeat and bring down herO. Remember, KungFu, he was the original player that knocked him down to lower bracket. Can he do it again? Can he do it again? Here we go. So here tonight we do have two best of sevens. The first one here is going to be the lower bracket finals. Then we follow that into the grand finals. This is where we crown our champion. Once again, a big shout to SC Boy, and the Chinese community for actually hosting and for running the event. Kung Fu Cup has been around for a very, very long time, for many, many years, but always does kind of come back with a different kind of flair, with a different kind of format. Before this, it was a weekly tournament alongside WTL. Now it has returned as more of a monthly, or even before, and then after that, it came back as like a bi-weekly SC Evo, and then Warcraft 3 Evolution as well. If you recall, we were covering those events, and now it has returned as a monthly tournament. We had one for September, October, now we have one for November, and we should be having one for December as well, as we near the end of the year and that final month of 2025. Oh boy. So we should have another one coming into December as well. For now though, again, we do have our next series. It is going to be that TVZ between KungFu and herO. Oh boy. Game 1 is going to be on Mothership as we load on in. As we do so, a big shout out to Complete Noob in the chat. Este Complete. Thank you so much for subscribing for 22 months, almost 2 years of support. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. It's been crazy just how long the support has been. We appreciate it as always, and I hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft as we are jumping into Game 1 and spawning in the top left hand corner of Mothership. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is KungFu. And spawning in the bottom side of Mothership, we have the South Green Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. We go. We're getting into our TVP. Now, when it comes to Terran versus Protoss, it is a matchup that has been in flux as of late. We bring this up quite a bit here, but TVP has been shifting in meta throughout the entirety of the year. It's gone through so many metas, so many different tendencies, so many different styles, and we are landing in a really interesting place. I will say that for the most part, the ladder map pool doesn't really favor longer and later games for Terran at the moment. A lot of these maps, like Mothership, for example, are very open. So we have our natural, we have our third base, we have our fourth base. As you can see, we have a massive entrance into the fourth location, into the southern base location. Likewise, we have a massive entrance here in towards the third base. The center base is also much more exposed, much more vulnerable, and it can be difficult to turtle up on 4 bases as a Terran player in this matchup. So far, double gas, interesting. Double gas opener into a faster factory, into a delayed TC. But yeah, a lot of these maps in this map pool, it is quite difficult to try to turtle up and get into that kind of strong mid to late game composition, referring to Terran players turtling up and getting into Liberators, getting into Ghost Production, getting into Bio Marauder, and excelling in the mid game. And that is easier to achieve on some of the more defensive maps. I'm thinking of Celestial Enclave, I'm thinking of Winter Madness. I'm thinking of White Rabbit, for example. Like, there are certain maps that are more defendable and you can pull that off on, but they're few and far between. I would say there's like, what, 2 to 3 maps that favor that kind of style. The others are much more exposed, much more aggressive, and as a result, we often do see Terran players going for all-ins on Mothership. We have seen some Terran players like Bjorn attempt to play macro on this map, attempt and struggle, so we're expecting hyper-aggression out of Cure. Meanwhile, herO back at home, we're seeing a standard opener so far. Seeing standard opener because there's a higher chance that Cure is going for an all-in. We should be seeing some safer play out of herO, or potentially more aggressive play, so we'll keep an eye on him, but we expect to see additional gateways. Meanwhile, Reactor Reaper Hellion, I'm assuming here, yep, Reactor Reaper Hellion out of Cure, so we have a much more aggressive start. The goal here is to get economic damage, is to try to rush into a mineral line, rush past, and try to wreak havoc with that Reaper Hellion, specifically by killing probes. Let's go. So we're rallying across the map, bearing in mind that this is a 3-player spawn map as well, so Cure, he is looking for herO, whether it's top side or bottom side. We'll see where he does check first. And he's checking top side. So Reaper Hellion is going to be heading on over. At the same time, herO is setting up back at home, going for a Twilight Council into Blink. So standard opener here out of herO. Going into Stargate play, I do expect to see Stargate play at some point in this series, multiple times in this series as well, but typically it's more viable to do so on larger maps. This is a large map, yes, I should say on more defensive maps. Hallucination checks top right. Cure, he's now aware of herO's location. He rallies towards the south side. And he's got 4 Reapers and 2 Hellions. So far, so good. A decent chunk of army here. And once again, the goal here is to get economic damage. Reapers, they bust into the main base. At the same time, Hellions towards the natural. Reapers, they... Oh, there's a shield battery. Okay, save the shield battery in the mineral line. 1 Reaper goes down. Up. 1 Reaper does go down. Hellions, they do get in. The probes are lighting up. Oh, do line up for a moment. Secure looking for a way in, but he is denied. So far, so good. Solid defense here by herO. herO didn't lose anything. Not a single worker went down. He was denied some mining time here at the natural, but that's all the real damage that was dealt. herO holds. He does hold on. Now, what's important is that this Reaper Hellion is still alive, so you can still use it to threaten bases, get some scouting, and still dive into a mineral line like this. 1 probe. 1 probe goes down. Finally, some damage. Ideally, you want more than this, but you know there's still potential for damage here. Meanwhile, oh, we're just rallying. Yeah, it's an all-in. So we're going for an all-in here. We're rallying Marines, rallying the medevac, rallying tanks, and rallying Vikings, more importantly. These Vikings do add a lot of DPS here to the all-in. You land them, and they do so much damage to gateway base units as well. So again, Curie's just rallying everything across the map, and it's going to be on herO to keep up, as herO, he failed. Sorry, he does get the move out. Yeah, he does spot it. herO spots what's going on. Behind this, 1 shield battery. Charge is not yet done. He's getting extra gateways, getting a rover, but is it too late? As herO was not able to slow this down ahead of time. Oh, okay, went into charge, no blink, of course. So he has to build up those zealots. With enough zealots, he should break through. He's going for it. Yeah, he's going for the dive. He wants that tank, and he will get it. Yeah, he will get the tank. Tank does go down. Nice read here by herO going for charge. And with that herO, he would completely shut down the all-in. Another medevac. Oh, Udawas. Oh my god, medevac gets sniped. The Viking was too little too late. I kind of glossed over it, but winding back here when it comes to the build of choice, he did go into charge, not blink. Going into charge first in PvT is ideal to shut down tank all-ins. Whether it's this kind of all-in, whether it's a bit of a later timing instead on proper 2-base saturation, charge is just a really good way to just get on top of those Marines, get on top of the tanks, and shut them down, especially because medevac production is so limited here this early on. So here he shuts down the initial all-in, doesn't have enough to counterattack, but has gained map control and momentum, and now Cure is in a really rough position. Now, he's at least still building up his units. He still retained the Vikings. We have more Vikings on the way as well, by the way. Oh, here he still wants those tanks, though. No bunker. Yeah, no safety bunker. Viking goes down, and you can see those zealots just tear through the Marines. They tear through the tanks as well. As another tank goes down, that's going to be 3 dead tanks. And he was just going for the kill. Yeah, he's going for the kill. He's just not allowing Cure to reinforce, to recover, and herO takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, a solid read here out of herO, winding it back. If herO went into charge, and if we saw a standard opener out of herO, then herO would fall behind. Again, imagine if herO just, you know, goes into drop play, goes into Widowmine drop harass, into Banshee harass instead, building up into a third base, then rushing into charge that early on doesn't achieve anything, because hey, you can't defend with that against those kind of air-based units. That's where Blink Stalkers or Phoenixes come into play to shut down Banshees, Widowmine drops, Raven harass, for example, regular drop play, and that wasn't really factoring in because it was a tank all in. Right? It was a tank all in out of herO. So again, a solid read out of herO. GG, well played. Whew. And herO takes the first game, and now we're rushing into game number 2. Again, as you mentioned, there was a higher chance for herO to go for an all-in on Mothership. As we mentioned, it is a very difficult map to macro on. And now we're going to be loading into... on Mothership, and now we're going to be loading into Tourmaline, and here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline. We have the South Korean Terran player, we have the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid, down in the series. We'll see if we can bounce back. It is Pure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss, representing T1, getting proxied. It is herO. Yeah, I see the camera up. Here we go. So we have the SCV moving in, and we're setting up for the proxy racks here outside of the third location. Now, what I was going to say is that Tourmaline is one of those maps that does favor all-ins. This map, it has a very open third base. It has a very open natural as well. So aggression and all-ins are favored on this map. But herO, he's going for an early proxy instead. I'm curious to see how hard he commits to this, whether he goes into a tech lab, into Marauder production, or just Reapers. Based on the rally, it looks like just proxy Reaper. So not the most committed proxy here, only 1 racks, there's no second racks. So an aggressive start is designed to give herO a bit of an edge early on. And we'll see if he does take it. We're now saturating that gas geyser, rallying into the main. Let's rally in. So far, here comes that Reaper, as I did mention. And back at home, we just have a standard open out of herO. herO, he should be going for another safe build. He might be tempted to open up charge again, but I don't know if I like the idea of doing that 2 games in a row. It might just be better to go into Blink, but go into a higher gateway count. This is where mind games come into play. herO confirms the factory. He knows that a Rax is missing. A bunker gets thrown down, and herO is getting ready. Scrotuing out that Stalker. Reaper into the main. It's on herO to micro back his probes. Nicely done. He does pull back his weakened workers. Ooh, so lose 1. Yeah, 1 probe goes down. Just 1 worker. The bunker will finish. Shield battery is on the way. Oh! Ooh, gets a second probe. Does get a second worker. Nice pick up here out of Cure. Meanwhile, we have a second Reaper into the main base. And herO is being pulled apart a little bit here. Losing 2 probes already. And will he lose 3? Oh. Yeah, not quite. Not quite. Shield battery is finishing up. And herO can now focus down the bunker. Now focuses down. Ooh, SCV does fall. Good miscontrol that there out of Cure. So it's away the Reaper. And that'll be a kill. That'll be a kill on the bunker. Ooh, Reaper gets another probe. And on the one hand, this is going to be dealt with. On the other hand, quickly checking here, 4 probes did go down. 4 probes for a Reaper, for a bunker, for an SCV. A bit of a back and forth. He also forced out a shield battery and forced out the chrono on the Stalker as well. It has some damage. Oh, behind this is a brutal supply block. Yeah, brutal supply block here for Cure. He's getting into his own tank production. Very early tanks here. Looks to be for early drop play as well. Okay. Let's go. Este Cure. And we have a Stargate opener out of herO. This is a bold move. I did mention previously that I would expect to see StarCraft play in this series, but I expected on Celestial Enclave or on Winter Madness or on White Rabbit. I expected on one of the larger maps. To go for it here on Tourmaline, this is risky. This is very risky here. When it comes to going, it's gonna work out actually. So the hallucination did scout and did confirm Banshee play or Raven play. Regardless whether it's Banshee or Ravens, that is where Phoenixes can excel. I was going to say that against specifically tank pushes and tank all-ins, I'm thinking of tanks with Marines, with Viking production, similar to last game actually, very similar to last game. If we had that kind of build, then Phoenixes would struggle, just because sure, they can lift up the tank, but there's going to be so much anti-air alongside it to zone away the Phoenixes and to render them inert. And that means because you went for a Phoenix, because you went for Stargate play, you have no charge, you have no blink, you have no real Gateway Army support for your Phoenixes, and you can just topple over to an all-in. So again, this kind of build, this kind of opener is very vulnerable to all-ins, but Kira, he's going into Banshee play, he's making upgrades, getting into Stim, he's going for a later move out, which means that here he should be able to get away with his Phoenixes. As Hero gets a third, he's moving out. So far, he has 3 Phoenixes, and there thankfully is a bunker. Here, he can try to lift the tank in the Cyclone. But he does see the bunker, and he will back off. Hero pulls away. Banshee's making his way across the map. The Phoenixes have yet to reveal themselves. But he can... I mean, remember, he has no blink, but he does get the Cyclone. Okay. Cyclone. Going for the natural, going for the tank. And can he start to step in? Yeah, master repair on the tank, and the repairs are good enough. Yeah, that was not worth of a hero, leaving out a lot of stalkers. At the same time, Banshee into the main base as Rico back home, and 3 probes are going down. Again, this should not have happened, but Hero was overly aggressive, and that is 5 probes to the Banshee. Nice damage at a cure. Nice damage overall. He was able to kill 2 stalkers here as he tried to break that natural. And Kira, he is stabilizing on 2 bases. Getting into Stim. Stim is almost done. Now the question is, once Stim finishes, once Combat Shields finishes, do we commit? How many tanks are we going to have though? Only 1? 2. 2 tanks. I don't think this is quite enough here. Not on 2 bases. So I feel like there's a higher chance that Kira gets a third. Speaking of, Hero is getting his own pay, working towards Colossus. Let's find some SCVs at least. Nicely done. Does get some more value out of these Phoenixes. Here goes the move out. Remember, it's only 2 tanks. And ideally, Hero wants to try to slow this down for his Colossi. Security just rallies everything across. Ooh, Woodermine gets picked up. Let's get a Phoenix, but again, this is slowing down the push. Colossus is almost done. Hero just needs a little bit more time. Oof, catching the medevac. Medevac takes a lot of hits, forcing out a Stim. He just wants to push across the map. Oh. And Hero's done it. He's done it. The Colossus has arrived. He's bought enough time, and I don't see this army really pushing in. Not against a Colossus. Not like this. Oh. Security, he's still rallying. Still rallying forward. Go jump into the main base. Oh. Again, only 1 Colossus to defend. There's 2 shield batteries. Yeah, Hero is late to engage. No charge. We got the slow bots waddling in. He's trying. He's trying to get on top of those tanks. It's going to be a brutal fight here. Phoenixes, they finally do rock up. They lift one of the tanks. Medevacs will go down. And with the second Colossus here, he might... he doesn't have enough. Yeah, not enough support. Colossus are going down, and Cure, he's done it. He's breaking the natural. He's breaking on through again. Charge is just barely not done in time. It's still not done. Ah, no. Ah, now he has a second Colossus. Okay. 2 Colossi, charge finishing up in 7 seconds. Here needs time for extra warp-ins. Yeah, speaking of, you can see his low gateway count. Trying to spend his money. Trying to warp in. These Colossus is still very exposed. There's only one tank. So the main fight here can still lift. And Cure backs off. Yeah, as Cure pulls away. I mean, there was definitely an opening here. That was very close. That was very close, very clutch. Cure, he almost just straight up ended the game. It was so close. But we're macroing out of this. Third TC is getting up and running. We have the Academy on the way as well. Cure, he's taking up. And we are embracing a longer game state. Now, I'm a little bit concerned here. We spoke about this previously, but this map does favor aggression, or maybe a better way of putting it is that the map is difficult to defend on. Whether it's the natural base with the third base as well, it is difficult to really claim a fourth base, and that means that this is going to favor whoever has map control. That's what matters most here. Whoever has map control will be able to contain and just snowball from there and just take a massive lead. Here, he's still battered, he's still bruised, he's still building up. But if Cure starts throwing down sensor towers and missile turrets, then I'm going to have to favor herO. We'll see. Yep, 4th CC. 4th CC is on the way. Cure is going to try to turtle up. Now, the one upside here for Tourmaline is that if he is able to successfully get up to 4 bases and max out, then the time it takes to get across the map is very short. So you can try to leverage that very quickly to end the game, before herO can rebuild his army if he takes a better fight. Oh. Meanwhile, second Robo. Disruptor production's underway. Building up into disruptors. So players are still saturating. And despite the very aggressive, very chaotic start here, we're just slowing the game down. We're building up on 4 bases. herO, he's going to be the first to max out, but Cure isn't too far behind supply-wise. And we'll see who can gain that map control. For the time being, both players just more concerned with just building up and stabilizing. In a head-on fight, I do favor Cure's army. He's maxed. He has yet to really perfect his army, so there's no fusion core, there's no there's no third starport, there's no liberator production. So the army's not exactly there yet. He does have a lot of Vikings at least, but his we'll see how well these Novas can connect. So far we have 5, soon to be 6 disruptors. And Storm. It's not an easy army to control for herO. Not easy. Disruptors, Storm, some maneuvers Colossus as well. Cure does move out. He is spotted. He's moving forward. He does have those 5 disruptors. First Nova goes up, zones away. Army coming in from behind, coming in with the surround. And the Novas, they will connect. Ooh, I say that. Nice splits out of Cure. Okay, splits well, and Cure, he will overwhelm. He overwhelms here. Here, he was a little bit trigger happy. The Novas, they all clumped up in one spot, and Cure, he avoided the Novas. He avoided the Novas. Cure, he can snowball from here. Very nice splits. Once again, the splits, pappy. Ooh, we got one good connection towards the end, but it's too little too late. Too little too late. Cure, he wins one big fight, and from here, just snowballing out of control, breaks the base, and he can just keep going for the kill. We mentioned this previously, but the rush distance by ground is very short in this map, so once you start pushing, you do not stop. You don't stop. Stimming on forward, straight into the natural. The Nova will not connect, gets focused down. And we have a series. We have a series here. Cure, he breaks that natural base, takes out both Robos, no more Colossus, no more Disruptors. And again, we had a very aesthetically pleasing surround out of Cure, but out of herO. But as we mentioned here, all the Novas, they all just converge into one location. Cure, he was able to split, able to avoid. GG gets called, and Cure, he ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Cure does tie things up, and we have our back and forth. We have a series. Let's go. Let us go. Once again, herO, he barely did survive the initial push. It was quite intense, quite close. But as we mentioned, when it came to the main armies, I did favor Cure as he was able to build up his Mass Viking, his Mass Ghost, his Mass Bio. herO had a really interesting setup with the surround, but had a very lackluster execution when it came to the attack itself. So herO did miss control. He was very trigger happy. He sent out all the Novas into one location. That meant that once they whiffed, I mean, that was game. That was game then and there. So GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 3, and we'll see who takes the lead from here. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the opponent hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. Oh, representing Team Liquid, it is Cure. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. We go. So we have a series, we have a back and forth. The Cure last game did open up with his initial proxy, was able to get some damage early on, but more importantly was able to hit that stim timing, was able to break that natural initially, gain momentum, preserve his army, and build up from there. But now we're loading into a much larger map. So because the map is so large, because of the rush distance, it does mean that there's less of a chance for the game to end so suddenly. All-ins and aggression is going to be less favored here, and we're expecting to see a longer game. Now, White Rabbit is more defendable than any other map we've seen so far, so it does have a much more secure 4-base and 5-base setup, so we can see Cure hunker down and try to build up into a similar kind of game state as last game. For now, double gas. Double gas, faster factory. We'll see what kind of style Cure goes for. But going to like Widowmine drops, Banshee harass, Raven harass, that kind of play is more viable here. So Probe does take a lot of hits. Barely does make it out. Oh, as the probe does fall. So nice pickoff. Kills the probe. Behind this is a lower chance that herO does open up charge. So we should be expecting a Blink base opener instead. Or we could see Phoenixes again. True. And wouldn't be opposed to Stargate play. Maybe not 2 games in a row, but we'll see. here we go. It is going to be that Stargate opener, and again, this makes a little more sense. One of the reasons why hero had such a difficult defense last game as well was his lack of charge, if you remember, and why was charge so delayed? Because of the Stargate, because of the Phoenix. So a lot of it did come down to the openers as well, as Cure was able to punish the Stargate opener of hero in game number 2. Here we have a Stargate opener, but as I mentioned in the beginning of game 2, it is safer to go Stargate on White Rabbit. It's safer. Cure failed to scout, did not get into the main. So far here, he's shading into the main base. He's going for the Reaper. Gets one. And he wants the other. Does get it. 2 Reapers do fall, shades out, and does escape. So not bad. Behind this hero opening up Oracle, not Phoenix. Okay. Going for economic damage instead. Rushing into economic damage. Oracle's on the way. Cure following this up with a Hellion drop. Okay. Hellions are amassing. As Oracle arrives, takes down Marine. Where is the anti-air? Non-existent. Yeah, there's no anti-air here. We have Viking on the way, delayed Tech Lab, no Cyclone, SCVs are getting picked up, and this comes down to lack of scouting. Cure, he did not scout the Stargate. More SCVs going to be going down, and this is already becoming too much. 8, 9, 10. As the Oracle finally runs out of energy, 10 SCV kills. 10 SCVs, Marine, and a Hellion. And Cure, he's committed. He has to find some damage across the map. He's going for the drop. And remember, here, he saw the medevac. He knows. He saw the medevac back. One Hellion gets in. And won't get any kills. And no damage to the main. Cure, he's in a brutal position here. Oh no, the medevac's getting caught out as well. Forced to boost away. Lockdown is broken. Cure is trying to hold his own. Behind this, down to 27 SCVs. Again, barely an economy here for Cure. They do bust in. Yeah, they bust into the main base. They do get a Cyclone. They get a Viking as well. Nice pickups. Nice Oracle does poke in. And here is just getting comfortable. From here, he can just saturate his third base, build up. We have charge on the way. We have +1 on the way. What we're really lacking here is splash damage, whether it's Storm, whether it's Colossus. Like, here should be working towards that soon. Nice revelation, he gets eyes on the move out, and Cure, do we pull the voids with this? I mean, there's barely anything to pull, there's barely anything here. Yeah, Cure is going for a later stim timing, so he's stuck at home. So then he is stuck. And here he's even going for the dive. A little bit premature is what I will say, but he does get the Vikings, does go for the tank. The tank should go down. And we trade well against the SCVs. Yeah, 9 SCVs going down. We have reinforcements trickling in as well. Tank will fall. One more volley. And even with Cure surviving this, even if he barely does hold on, he barely has anything left. Right down to 6 Marines. He holds on, that he does hold. But behind this, we will lose 18 SCVs, the tanks, the everything. He was going for a 2-base all-in. You can see here with the 2 extra Raxes. The hidden Raxes behind the middle line. This is indicative of a 2-base all-in, but he just couldn't really get there. Just a really rough start. And GG gets called. herO will take a lead in the series, 2-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, this came down to the opener, the Stargate opener into the Oracle. If you remember, KungFu had a moment when he dipped into the main base, but he did not scout behind the mineral line. He didn't scout the main base particularly well. He was zoned away, right? He was zoned away, he was deflected, and KungFu failed to scout the tech. He didn't realize there was a Stargate on the way, so because of that, there was no defensive Viking, there was no defensive Cyclone either. There was, I think, only 1 or 2 Marines, so the anti-air was very, very limited there for KungFu. He had no idea what was going on, and instead he was going for his own Hellion drop, if you remember. He was going for a reactor Hellion medevac drop across the map. As a result, when the Oracle arrived, it did end the game. Did end the game then and there. He got, what was it, 10 SCVs. 10 SCVs at the start of the game. That was brutal. And the Oracle, I mean, survived as well. We could still find some more damage. Went to pieces. GG. GG, well played. So a rough start there for KungFu. And now we're loading into another one of these larger maps. We're loading into Celestial Enclave. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Celestial Enclave, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is KungFu. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. Here we go. As we are getting into game number 4. And coming into this, welcome to Celestial Enclave. Celestial Enclave is another one of these larger maps. So this is honestly another good map for Stargate play again. So if we open up Oracle, open up Phoenix, like that kind of play is going to be more viable here once again on Celestial Enclave. KungFu, it looks like he wants to go CC first. Okay. I'm reminded of the blind like 4-gate setup that we saw previously. Out of Skilless if you recall. That was over the weekend during Sparkling Tunic Cup. That would be a way to punish. But regardless, KungFu, he's cutting corners, going CC first into the pocket base. I mean, this is a game of greed. We do have our pocket expansion. We have our natural that's very secure as well. You have a very, very secure kind of 2.5 base setup, bearing in mind that the pocket base is half an expansion with less middle patches and with only 1 gas geyser. The 4th base is more open, but because of how defendable your 3 bases are, you can just like sit your main army at the 4th base and be fine. So building up to 4 bases is relatively straightforward here on Celestial Enclave. This is why we do expect to see either herO cutting corners or opening up Stargate play again. What's it gonna be? I said this before, I'll say it again. I'm not too fond of the idea of playing Stargate 2 games in a row. What worked quite well on White Rabbits, but I feel like that surprise factor is now gone. So KungFu even opens up Reactor first. Oh, Reactor first into a faster second Rax into a factory. We have the setup here for a 2-1-1. Okay. No faster at CC. There's no like 3 CC3 racks or anything like that. KungFu, he is known for playing mech, at least in some of these other maps, especially Pylon, for example. Mech is not going to be a factor here, but definitely something to bear in mind for the rest of the series. My brain suddenly just went to a like 1-1-1 faster Banshee play for some reason. I don't. But yeah, 2-1-1. Attack up on the factory. There's the starports. This is going to be quite interesting. It's going to hit quite hard. It's going to be a blink-based opener out of herO. herO throws down 2 extra gateways. herO is playing very safe. Very, very safe here. Going blink and building up to 3 gates before expanding. Even going for a robo as well. So very safe play out of herO. Meanwhile, Cure, yep, he's going for his 2-on-1 sim timing. This is a build that is typically reserved for ZVT. We see it a lot against Zerg. It is a bit of a rarer build against Protoss. Now, the downside of this sim timing, of course, is that the tank count is going to be lower. But we did get a fast tech lab on that factory, so you have my attention. Now, this safe build here to here is going to actually work quite well. There's going to be a decent chunk of Stalkers, potential for Immortal production, or at least the Observer. We'll see if Hero can keep up. As we are getting, Jesus, we're getting extra Raxes here. This does feel like a 2-base all-in. So very committed, very aggressive, very early stim. The scariest moment here for herO is that he needs to scout the move out. He does have one Adept in position, but he needs map control. Here he does move out. Here he has potential to counterattack as the army pushes. Remember, there is an opening into the natural, but we have Cure in position. Shades, spots the tanks, get shut down. Hero diving into the natural. Ooh, the army's in position. Hero, nice juggling, does kite back. Yeah, kites back, but here he has to get out of here. He cannot fight head on. So far, nice juggling, and he blinks away. Wow, Hero doesn't lose a single Stalker. Very impressive. Yeah, clean micro there. Hero doesn't lose anything. He does rotate, does send out his drops. The Observer should have seen that. Yeah, he's going for the dive. The tanks are exposed. He gets one. One tank goes down. The add-on as well, denying combat shields. And the boys are being pulled. Curie's getting desperate. He's getting desperate here, and he will force the army out. And do we get the recall? And does he recall back home? Does he commit in? Here he has a shield battery. We need warpins. Again, here he should recognize that the army is missing. And Kira gets in. The recall is late. So late recall, shield battery goes down. He does focus on the Stalkers. Gets 1, 2, 3 Stalkers. 4 Stalkers go down instantly. Jesus. Here he does get some decent damage here. 7 probes. Another Stalker. Yeah, 7 probes and 6 Stalkers go down. Jesus. Crazy damage out of Cure. So we have a bit of a back and forth. On the one hand, yes, here he was able to pick up some tanks, but remember, this is the setup for what looks to be a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in. These 3 ranks have no add-ons. No add-ons here, so that is indicative of an all-in. The boys are being pulled, and it's all or nothing for Cure. The boys run into the SC, they run into the Stalkers. They run in. No. Yeah, Stalkers are diving into the natural. Curie turns everything back around. Remember, he's all in. He's meant to be across the map. He's second guessing himself. Yeah, a little bit indecisive. Curie turns around. He pulls back. Curie's all in is late, as the boys have arrived. And here, once again, is being active to slow this down. It's being proactive. Ooh, gets a medevac, gets 1, gets 2. 2 medevacs go down. Every stim is going to hurt that much more. Charge is complete. Yeah, he's fine. Here, he's fine. He's got the Immortal, Charge, Mass Blink Stalker. He's diving in, going for the tanks, blinks forward. Gets 1, gets 2, both tanks go down, and without tanks, this army just doesn't really have much left. Down to a handful of Marines. Stalkers, they chase them down. We just warp in, we just reinforce. And again, it was a very intense game, and Curie had its own moments, so GG gets called, and herO will extend his lead 3-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played here. He does extend his lead here. Again, very safe play at a herO and a very good call. Remember, what did herO go for? He went 3-gate blink. 3-gate blink with a robo on 2 bases, delaying his 3rd base for extra stalkers and extra army. Meanwhile, Kure went for a CC first into a 2-1-1 into a 5-rack setup, right? It was either 5 or 4. It was 5. It was 5 axes. Going for the 2-base all-in. It was imperative that herO was active though. Here he was sniping tanks, he was sniping add-ons, he was picking off SCVs, and he was slowing down Kure. And every second that passed, it meant that the all-in was weaker, right? When it comes to these all-ins, like, they're usually really refined and they come down to the wire. Like, they're typically very well thought out. And if you miss your window, if you miss your timing, then, I mean, the all-in fails, right? Like, it's all about breaking your opponent as early as possible before they're ready for it. But here, he was able to scout to the move out. If you remember, the observer in the main base saw the tanks were exposed, so he blinked in, snipes the tanks, picks off more marines. At the same time, very fortunate that he just ran into the SCVs as well, so he kills more SCVs. He forced Kure to turn back around. The drop into the main base was really good, that is true, but wasn't good enough. Was not good enough there for Kure. GG, well played. And with that herO, he does extend his lead, and now we're loading into Taito Citadel. Oh boy. Let's go. We're loading into Taito. And again, I'm a little bit surprised that Kure decided to go for the all-in, specifically on Celestial. We spoke about how it favors greedier play, but that's where mind games come into play, right? I'm sure that Kure was maybe hoping that herO would cut corners, was hoping that herO would be greedy and then punish that greed. But alas, that wasn't the case. That was not the case. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Taito Citadel. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. Down in the series, he has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this, and to extend the series, it is Kure. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss for T1. 1 game away from claiming the series, it is herO. We go. Fun fact, I believe, especially when it comes to when it comes to Kure's 2-1-1, and I think the plan was to try to hard counter a Stargate opener. That makes sense in my mind. And if you remember, we were discussing at the time, as herO moves out, we were discussing the idea of going Stargate on Celestial, and I was talking about how, like, Stargate play makes a lot of sense on Celestial, but I wasn't fond of the idea because we just played Stargate on White Rabbit, right, on the game previous to that. So I didn't quite like the idea of going into Stargate play 2 games in a row. Thankfully, herO didn't. herO went for a very safe build instead, so he also felt like he was maybe vulnerable to a hard counter from his opponent, something more aggressive. So herO played it safe, and Kure, his 2-on-1, is designed to hard counter a Stargate opener, right? Oracles, Phoenixes, just because you have so much anti-air, and you can punish your opponent for delaying their charge and delaying their blink. But alas, you know, herO went for a safe build instead, and herO came out on top. Here's being as annoying as possible. It does delay quite heavily, actually. That was like, what, a 535 mineral CC timing? Jesus. So nice delay. Meanwhile, welcome to Taito. Taito Citadel is an interesting map. I still have a really hard time placing this map, to be honest. It is large, it has a long rush distance, but the bases are really spread out. The 3rd base, the 4th base, like the bases are very spread out here, so we have seen players struggle to be defensive in longer games. Is Kure tempted to go into a longer game? I wouldn't be too opposed to it here, but we'll see. For now, Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener out of herO, opening up Blink. Catching up in the chat. Thank este burrito in the chat. Gracias, papi, gracias. I appreciate the kind words. Love your cast. You're great. Keep it up. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Glad you enjoyed the content. Glad you enjoyed the StarCraft. Gracias, papi. Gracias. So players are building up. We have Kure going for his 1-1-1. This time there's no big commitment into Reactor Reaper Hellion. So no big commitments. herO once again throws down 2 more gateways, and he's going into 3-gate blink into a robo. For those that are curious, this is the same build, the same opener that we saw last game. It's very safe. It's just a very safe way of playing. Technically, there are stronger ways to try to build up and hard counter it all in, like a charge-based opener, but overall, this is just very safe. Allows you to have blink, allows you to build up a decent stalker count, and to gain map control. And then you expand behind it, ideally. Let's create hands out his units. Setting up for a Widowmine drop. Tech labs are on the way. This may turn into a 2-1-1 without any stim, without any tech labs on the Raxes. We'll see if he starts Viking production. With the tech lab, we'll see if he add-on subs even. I say Widowmine drop into the Raven, looks like a standard follow-up. Widowmine drop is coming in. Into the main. Blink is already done. Ooh. Yeah, avoids the shots. Nicely done. Avoids Widowmines. Shuts them down. And herO, he will lose one probe so far, so barely any damage. At the same time, though, we do see the Hellions into the natural. Gets one more. So 2 probe kills. Better defense for herO. And our eyes are on Cure. Okay, add-on swap. I was curious to see if there was going to be an add-on swap or not. Have the Raven Harass follow up. Upgrade should be on the way, and Cure is building up into the mid game. And there's Stim. So again, Cure should not be pushing without Stim. Meanwhile, herO, yeah, double bunker at the natural. We have one tank in the main base, second tank just now popping out, and herO, does he dive in? This natural's so large. Oh my god, he just gets behind the mineral line. Does get behind. Nice control so far. It does pick up, does pull away. Blink is complete. Blinks out and denies mining. It denies mining time here. 6 SCV kills. Here he lost 1 stalker. Yeah, 1 stalker went down in that fight. Pulls away, rotates. The main base is more secure. Here he wants them. He blinks in. He's gonna get it. 2 shots. Will cost him a stalker. As he gets 3 add-ons. He wants a tank. He wants a tank as well, and he will get it. It's a little bit greedy. As herO does bleed out more stalkers. That was 2 stalkers for a tank and 3 add-ons. More importantly, though, he denies Stim. Stim is denied, Stim is delayed, and Curie's going to be stuck on 2 bases that much longer. Do you see what I see? 2 more Raxes. This is more indicative of a 2-base all-in. We'll see if he gets add-ons. So we'll keep an eye on Cure. But he has been... never mind, he gets a 3rd TC, he's expanding, and this means that herO is in a very comfortable position. This tells us, okay, there's no 2-base all-in, that means Cure is turtling. That means Cure is turtling up back at home, that means that herO has so much more freedom. Yeah, 4 stalkers, a 1-shot SCVs, getting 7 SCV kills, 1 stalker goes down, but herO does get out. herO pulls away. He wants more. And again, you can just see how much space there is here in the natural. So much space. Delays the command center. Speaking of delayed command center, there we go. SB now does start. Let's get back into building. And here's chilling. Here is building up to Colossus. 4th Nexus on the way. Getting a 2nd base, or a 2nd Robo. Into double Colossus production. Here just needs time. And these Stalkers, they've all been about buying time. Secure here will soon finish up these add-ons, these upgrades. Sim is finally going to finish. Here, he's not quite in position to deny the 3rd, but he does at least spot it. Spot the base. Oh, bleeds out a Stalker. Kira goes down, confirms there's no extra Raxes. And here comes Kira. Finally comes the main push at 8:30. There should be Colossus to meet him. There's two. Yeah, there's already two Colossi. Kira, he has to be careful here. Ideally, he postures. Ideally, he does not try to push up the ramp. If he does, I mean, there's a lot of firepower waiting for him.
Command center upgrade.
He gets spotted.
Complete.
Oh my god, crazy blink. Gets him in the back. Nice pick up at a herO. And once again, I do not see Kira pushing up this ramp. It's not going to happen. But again, he's just containing the Protoss, so he's trying to. Spots the Prism. Prism is spotted. The Prism actually forces everything to turn around. Yeah, Kira turns back home. Kira does buy some breathing room. And Kira gets scared back. Prism gets spotted. Oh, the mine shot. Oof. Nice mine shot. Takes down the Prism. Prism goes down, but now herO expands. Remember, if it wasn't for that War Prism, Kira would have been down here on the low ground, and herO would be stuck on 4 bases. But herO, he breaks out, thanks to the War Prism. He's able to expand, and herO himself has gained map control instead. And now it's Kira that's contained. But again, Kira is turtling up. We have a wall of missile turrets, academies on the way, armory for 2-2. herO pushing up the ramp. Bold movie blinks in, takes down the first tank. Nice force fields. But herO has to be so careful here not to overextend. Snipes the Vikings. 3 Colossus, they just wreak havoc. Making his way towards the base, does force a cancel. And overall, that was a very efficient move here from herO. He was able to force field. He made sure that Kira didn't collapse on the army. In a head-on fight, I did favor Kira, but he was just zoned away by the force fields, and his CC was denied. Now, this is the other big factor here of Title Citadel, is the gold base. Whoever has map control, bam, they get a free gold. And herO has map control. Kira, he's turtling up on 3 bases, so herO is free to get his own 4th, his own 5th, and his own 6th expansion. So here he has double the base count, and the gold base is going to be a massive factor as well. Now with these gold minerals, this means that here he can just warp in and max out with zealots. Speaking of double drop, double zealot drop into the main. I mean, hey, we spoke about the charge zealots. We should be seeing a massive warp in. There it is. Zealots get into the main base, and Kira is being pulled apart. So the main army dives in, takes down the tank just barely. Yeah, tank goes down. Army has to kite back. That's a lot of lasers. And that's going to be 17 dead SCVs in the main. 17 dead workers. And GG gets called. Too much damage. herO, he will take the series 4-1. And herO will advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO, he does make it through. He does win in the rematch. Remember, Kira initially beat herO. Kira was the player that knocked herO down to the lower brackets, but herO does get his revenge. Again, a very intense, very aggressive series here. We got a lot of out of our players. We did see Kira going for the all-in initially on Mothership, which herO was able to hard counter by going into charge. So herO did read him well in game 1. Game 2, we saw herO being greedy. I'm still a little bit perplexed as to herO's decision. herO went for a Stargate opener on Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of, if not the most aggressive map in the map pool. So herO did not get away with the Stargate play. That was the one game that Kira won, was on Tourmaline. Made sense as he punished herO, and then herO was able to embrace Stargate play on White Rabbit, able to cripple Kira early on with the Oracle Harass, getting 10 SCVs at the start of the game. Like, that was just game-winning damage. So again, KungFu was punished, he was crippled, he did not scout the Stargate, so we didn't know what was coming. The Oracle did cripple him early on. Coming into game 4, we did see Celestial Enclave, where KungFu had a really cheeky build, going for a CC first into 2-1-1 hyper aggression out of Cure, but herO was able to punish him, went for a very safe build instead, and did punish him. As when KungFu moved out, we saw herO move in, sniping tanks, sniping add-ons, slowing down KungFu and slowing down his eventual 2-base all-in on Celestial Enclave, which I was really surprised by. Like, all-ins are not really favored on Celestial Enclave. I think KungFu was just trying to be cheeky. If you remember, we spoke about it, it felt like he was trying to hard counter Stargate play just because we had seen Stargates 2 games in a row, but it was a bit of a misread. herO did not embrace Stargates. Now let us sit here into Tidal Citadel with herO just pulling KungFu apart, gaining map control, and getting up to 6 bases. Crazy, baby. 6 bases, plenty of warp-ins, plenty of zealots. GG. GG. Really appreciate how I summarize the game after it's over. ZG does the same. I don't know who did it first or whether one was influenced by the other. Doesn't matter. Super good. Oh, that's nice that Zombigo does it as well. I didn't know that. I think we just did that independently. But there you go. There you go. It's all good. But there we go. GG. GG. Well played. With that, let us head on over here to the rest of the bracket. Oh, let's head on over. And we have our results. We have our results coming in here. So, bam, we have our top 2 players of the tournaments. Raynor, of course, he was lying in wait in the upper bracket in the grand finals, and herO will advance on the face-off against him. Now, herO and Raynor, they do have a history. They have a back and forth. herO, of course, herO, of course, did defeat Raynor in their most recent best of 7 in Little League Cup. herO did win 4-1, but Raynor, he's now been away from the Rift that much longer. You know, he's been on that grind. Raynor is in South Korea. He's been in Korea for quite some time, and he will remain in Korea at least until the end of December, as he wants to compete in the RSL qualifiers. So we'll see if Raynor can win in the rematch. Here, since herO, he had a very intense, a very dynamic initial best of 7, and we'll see how Raynor compares. It's catching up. Still feel that Siege Tank nerf so sort of fire. I mean, I feel like tanks are fine as they are, but I mean, when it comes to that last game, a big moment, of course, was the War Prism. If you remember, was the Prism getting past the army and forcing KungFu back home. We did speak on it, but at the time, KungFu did have map control. He had map control, he had control of the map, but because of the Prism, he turned everything back around. That was the moment when herO was able to expand, right? That's when he broke out. He took the northern base and he took the gold base as well. So he was able to break out, able to expand, break free from his contain, and take map control away from KungFu, which originally KungFu did have. So again, unfortunately, he did respond quite heavily, respond quite hard to that War Prism. And GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be cutting to a break. We're going to be cutting to a break here. When we come back, we will have the grand finals. It is going to be a best of 7 finals here between Raynor and herO. So we'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. See you soon.